What is up, guys? Welcome back to OverTakes. This is Misfit, and today we are talking about the June Joust Finals. All right, we have our 4 teams in. We are going to give our predictions on the first 2 matches, and then we're going to hit the crystal ball and move into who we think is going to take the tournament this time around. So if you have been joining me, thank you very much for all of your support. Likes, subscribes, all that stuff. Greatly appreciated. If you're new, first time joining us, thank you very much for stopping by, checking us out. I do Overwatch League content 2 to 3 times a week, depending on what's going on. Some weeks, like tournament weeks, we do a couple more episodes. Sometimes we do 2, depending on what's going on, if there's some pertinent news or something else extra popping up. But other than that, let's get into it. We had a couple of things, and I'm going to spend a little time on, we're going to talk really quick about this. It just dropped about half an hour, 45 minutes ago, before I was recording this. I haven't really dove into it, but crossplay in Overwatch. I think that's going to be fantastic. It's going to be great. You can play with your friends, all this kind of stuff. It seems like they're building more towards a fun atmosphere where you're not just solo queuing and molding. And I think we're eventually going to get guilds, and it's going to further progress into other things. But this is a big step. I have a lot of friends that have consoles that played Overwatch in the past and still do somewhat. And it would be I always wanted to play with them, and it's going to be great. Once this whole thing comes together and I read and see what it's all about, I think it's going to be fun. Obviously competitive, it's going to be a little different, and they had to work out a lot of things, I'm sure, in this, but I'm going to dive more into it. I wanted to spend more time on the June Joust tournament than that right now. In the off week, we'll talk about it, and maybe we'll dive in depth and have a little more of a discussion on it. Also, we had a new skin. It seems like every tournament they're doing a legendary skin, which is awesome, and this one is ridiculously cool. The Ange de la Mort, the Angel of Death, Widowmaker skin, in French, that would be. I love this skin, because my favorite band is Slayer. What's their biggest song? I mean, you guys that are metalheads out there know. Angel of Death. And this is like a metalhead homage, like character kind of thing for me. I mean, obviously it's kind of got like a whole dark vibe to it, Angel of Death, kind of Grim Reaper-ish looking thing, all the skulls on it and all that. It is so cool. I love it. I wish I had better aim, but I do play Widowmaker often enough where it will be my skin. I also have the other one that I consider kind of a metalhead skin, the Moon skin for Moira. It kind of has that like black metal face paint on there, all that. I know it's some kind of Bowie tie-in thing, but to me it reminds me of a black metal corpse paint kind of vibe. And this is just awesome. This is I love the skin. Anyway, that also just dropped before I was recording this, so I was excited about that. I got to build up some skins or some coins, or you can just buy the coins. You know how that works. It's in the Overwatch League. Overwatch League store, June 9th, June 21st. Going to be awesome. All right. So we got the fun stuff out of the way, and let's talk more fun stuff. Let's talk tournament fun stuff. How about that? All right. So we are going to dive into the June Joust, and let's talk about it. So we got our 4 teams, Atlanta and Dallas from the West, and Shanghai and the surprise New York Excelsior from the east side. The first matches are going to be New York and Atlanta and Dallas and Shanghai. So let's talk about these. Let's talk New York, Atlanta first. New York obviously got in here, got lucky to get in the knockouts. They surprised Hangzhou, beat them. I watched that match again, kind of. They looked, I don't know what Hangzhou was doing. We're just going to leave it at that. But anyway you slice it, New York's here. Now, Atlanta, they had a little tougher road than New York, it seemed like, but they buried some teams, man. They looked phenomenal. Now, they run the Orisa comps at an extremely high level, and they learned how to get some value out of the monkey comp as well. In this match right here, I really want to see New York's going to make this a match, because I like some of the pieces that they have in, but their tank line, it's just a glaring weakness against Atlanta right now. The way Gator and Hawk are playing, they dictate matches, and if they're doing that to Super and Choi Hyobin or Smurf and Choi Hyobin, and they did it to Houston with ease, I don't think that Yakpung and Bianca are on their level right now. Yeah, sure, maybe you could say monkey comp wise, like the pseudo rush thing, but I don't know, man. Even then, Atlanta's got a distinct advantage, and then you add into this equation, the Pelicans leveled up on Echo. He's playing as good, if not better, than anybody in the league right now on it. And then you have Kai in there doing hit scan. And then when they want to, the only thing they telegraph is when they want to do their Reaper comps, they're putting in Edison. So it's a little bit of a, you know what's going on, but Edison can play the other heroes too. That's the thing. He has some prowess on hit scan, but not the most. Now we talked about the Excelsior last week, and we said that Flora and Feather are two of their best components right now, and you can throw Jonak in there. Now, the one thing that I am leaning towards Atlanta in this match, and for most of the reasons I said, I think support-wise, Masa and Iris are a tick better, and it's mostly because I think Masa's way better than Friday right now. I think Jonak and Iris are about on the same level. Maybe Iris is a tiny, tiny bit better today. But Jonak has his moments where he pops off and he's just insane. And this is where I'm going with New York. The only chance they have, I think, is for Feather and or Flower. Oh, wow. You went a little too far back. Flora. Did I say that earlier? Flora and Feather to have they have to be insane in this match. And they have to take over and they have to dictate all the stuff. Because I don't think Yakpung and Bianca have what it takes to bully around Gator and Hawk in a comp that they're very, very familiar with, confident in, and in a scenario where the money's on the line, all the chips are on the table, whatever you want to cliche this as the playoff scenario that it is. I just like Atlanta a little bit better. Yeah, you could go with New York doesn't have experience, but does Atlanta really have experience? It's some. Maybe. I mean, Masa and, yeah, you can go Gator and Hawk. I believe they were there in 2018 when they beat the Shock weird C9. I'm not 100% on that, but I'm going with Atlanta in this. I just think that they're far superior. They're clicking on all cylinders. This was a meta that was tailored for them. Part of it was, at least. And I just think New York is a little young, I'm going to go with all the things I said last week that the reasons why Hangzhou should beat him. And I'm going to convert that into Atlanta. I think Pelican is a fantastic Echo, and I think the way he goes about it with the aggression and his forward thinking and his target selection on Echo is going to determine a lot of what happens in this. And I just don't see New York being able to handle it. Yeah, you can watch all the film you want. And the same thing goes for Atlanta. You could say that about Atlanta and New York, but I'm going with Atlanta in this. I just feel them to be far superior. I don't think anything against New York, and I'm not knocking New York. I just think Atlanta's way better. Okay, so Atlanta, I'm going to go Atlanta. I'm going to give New York a map in this because I think they do have the potential to win a map, but it's going to be a pretty decisive 3-1. Maybe they get them on something where they can get a monkey comp in there and kind of maybe outduel them a little bit, but I don't see it because as good as Flora is, Kai is that much better. As good as do you see where I'm going here, guys? Atlanta's just the better team. So, let's move on to the next match. Atlanta 3-1, first match. Next match, the Shanghai Dragons taking on the Dallas Fuel. Rematch from the last tournament where we saw them twice. Dallas won both of them. And right now, Dallas is frightening. They are scary. They are just... For some reason, I took Houston last week. I just had a weird feeling. Apparently, that was idiot brain. The Papige side of my skull saying, Houston has a chance. Why not? Anyway, I'm not knocking you guys, Houston fans. Dallas is just better right now. Anyway, this meta is tailored to them. You have the monkey comps, you can run Fearless on that stuff. And you have Doha and Sparkle doing whatever the frick they want because they're that good. Their supports are amazing. They are on point with all of the stuff they do no matter what hero they're on. If they're playing Moira, Anna, Brigitte, Lucio, they're just doing, I would say that, maybe the weakest link is Jexay, but that's not a bad thing because what's he, 4th, 5th in the league overall? He's 13th overall in the league. He's the lowest one of the guys on the fuel. Number 1 player in the league is Fearless. Number 2 is Hammond. Number 3 is Fielder. Number 4 is Sparkle. And number 5 is Doha. The next closest guy is Pelican, who has just gone nuts. And then after him is Lip. So yeah, this is how we're talking about domination right now with Dallas. Now, I think that the one team that can give them fits, they're not playing to start, and that's Atlanta. And it's mostly because of Pelican and Kai, and I think their tank line can duel them out in certain situations, mostly the Orisa Diva, Orisa Sigma stuff that potentially could happen if they play. But I'm not knocking Shanghai here. I think Shanghai's good. I think they're the best team in the East, but I don't think they can, in this meta, I don't think they can hang with Dallas. Dallas is just far and away better than every team. Yeah, Atlanta rolled some teams, but, Dallas did the same. The closest match they had was the Gladiators, which was 2 maps. They lost 1, and the first control map was fairly close against the Gladiators. And the Gladiators looked to be, looked to have upped their game, played better, etc., and what have you. But they just took care of them, and anything that stands in their way. Oh, and I said I meant Dallas beat Houston. Atlanta beat Boston. Back to the earlier comment. Atlanta buried Boston, not Houston. But Dallas buried Houston like they weren't even there. So I'm going to give a couple of things that I think that could happen in order for Shanghai to win. And it doesn't have to do with molding the meta or forcing metas in there. What they have to do is, first thing is neutralize Sparkle in Doha. That is your biggest task. Yeah, okay, you could say that the supports and all that. Sparkle and Doha, when they're left to their own volition, they just fucking destroy everybody. So you cannot especially Doha, if he's playing Reaper, you cannot let him teleport into the backline. He's so good at that. And if he does, you have to be ready. You have to get his cooldowns out. You have to do all of the things and hold your ground against him. Now, that's not even counting in Fielder. Fearless. Fielder as well. The Fearless and Hanbin are going to be doing what they do, making space for these two guys. And you have to kind of keep them at bay with your DPS, Lip and Fleta. The one thing is, Fleta is very, very good on Echo. The one thing, though, if you look, he's not even in the top 25, I believe, of players. He plays very, very cautious and very, very smart. Now, that can help, but it also can hurt you against a team like Dallas that is super aggressive. If you cannot handle or go in and be as aggressive to counter them and take out the pieces that you need to take out to slow them down just a little bit to maybe stay in a map or win a map, you're going to be in big trouble. And Fleta has to be aggressive. And we know that their supports are aggressive. Li Zhigong and Izayaki are a big key for them to do anything. I think they're on the same level as Doha and Fielder as far as what they can do. Now, stat-wise, they're not. But what I'm getting at is they can counter the aggression with their own, these two. And I think that Li Zhigong has to do a lot of stuff and do what he's been doing, with the environmental kills and all that. He's going to take matters into his own hands at certain times, because at times he seems to be the only aggressive one, him and Fate. And Fate really needs Fleta to be with him on some of these engages, especially if they're doing monkey stuff, which is going to happen. If they're mirroring the monkey comps, you have to be very aggressive and calculated, and you can't be laying back waiting for mistakes. Dallas doesn't make many, A. B, they play so hard and fast and aggressive that by the time you figure out that they've made a mistake, you could lose 2 guys easily. So they really need to start off by dictating pace, and it comes down to being aggressive and not reactionary. This is where Dallas gets some teams. They get teams that are good at hunting out your mistakes, maybe a positioning error, maybe, a missed shot when you shouldn't have, a missed sleep dart, a missed CC opportunity. They're good at beating those teams because they're dictating the pace and the speed and the aggression, so they don't have time to react to what Dallas is doing all of the time, which is they lose team fights occasionally, but they don't lose the majority of them, which is why they're absolutely burying people. And then you have the technical skill that these guys have added in there. It makes it very, very difficult. Now, this is my thought on this on this match. I say it goes 3-1. The first map that I think the Dragons win is going to be the one they get to pick. Whichever that one's going to be. It's going to be an assault map because I'm assuming they're going to lose the first map. That's my opinion on that. So if they lose the first map, they're going to pick an assault map. They're going to pick something that they can dictate the pace in. So you might see something like a Hanamura or something like that where they're pretty decent on. So that I think they could win that. If they draw or less, they're in big trouble and they're going to get smoked. But they have to get that map, the second map, or the first map. If they sneak the first map in, they might be okay. If they get into a scenario where they can run some long-range hit scan and stuff like that, sure, it sounds good. We all said it before. Oh, it sounds good. Going up against Dallas, you have a hit scan that's uncontested. Yeah, in theory. Doha and Sparkle don't let that happen. Fielder doesn't let that happen. Hanbin they don't let that happen. It doesn't get to the point where they matter. I think it's going to be a 3-1 Dallas winning. So, we have the bottom of the bracket and the top of the bracket now. So, top winners bracket, we have 2 teams from NA facing off. We have Atlanta and Dallas. And then losers bracket, we have, first match in the losers bracket, we have Shanghai and New York Excelsior. Now, I look at this first one. We're going to go on the losers bracket first. The first match. So, losers bracket first match, Shanghai, New York. I think Shanghai smokes them. I'm going more on the lines of experience, togetherness, and skill on this today, right at this moment. I've been saying that a lot, but right now I think that Shanghai is just a little bit more skilled, has a little bit more in the tank. They've seen them before. They know what they can do, and they've beaten them. I think they're going to beat them 3-0. I think New York's going to make a quick exit, unfortunately. So, my thoughts on New York stage, I think it was okay. They got in, and, Philly screwed the pooch again, I guess you could say. They lost the map, and here we are. They lost one map that they didn't really need to, or they really couldn't afford to lose, and New York got the opportunity to go. They beat Hangzhou. That's a big win. That's a big win for a young, inexperienced team in the Overwatch League like this, where, your main two, 3 guys are, 2 of them are okay. One of them is a all-time great in Jonak. And, you have Yakpong and, you have guys like Ivy and stuff like that on the team too, but I don't think you're going to be seeing that. You're going to be seeing Flora and Feather. I almost said Flower again. But I just think Shanghai on the level is just way better than them. So that I have Shanghai moving up into the losers bracket final. Next up, Dallas, Atlanta. This is going to be a good match. I just have a vibe. I think that Atlanta could do things to Dallas that Dallas hasn't experienced yet while running the monkey comps. They can get engaged in battles with them and doing either or. Dallas has a distinct advantage against them with the Winston because Fearless he's the best in the league. You could say that on almost every tank right now. He's the best player in the league. They probably lead for MVP. Gator's been looking better and better on Monkey. And if they can get into situations where they take over the match with doing what they do with the double shield and show that they can play the other comps. But if they do the stuff that they're comfortable on and the stuff with Kai and with with Pelican, playing the Echo. If he plays the Echo like he's been playing, and you have Kai back there playing Ashe or playing whatever he's playing on certain maps, Widowmaker or McCree, possibly, he could probably play Reaper if he needs to. And it hinges on Echo, or on the Echo play of Mr. Pelican in this one, I think. He's going to be the big factor. If he can harass their back line like he's been doing all through this tournament cycle in the knockout rounds, and, even the couple of matches before that, during the qualifiers, he's going to be a nightmare for them to have to deal with. Especially if you don't have a hit scan, you're going to have to figure out ways to get him out of the air. Feeler's going to be your guy. He might have to go to Anna or something like that, or BAP. And if you get them to switch out of things they don't want to be in, instead of doing the stuff that they want to do with the Moira Lucio, this pseudo rush thing, if you get them out of that and you get them into a composition that favors you, you might be able to take some maps from them. And I didn't say win. I think they can win, though. I think Atlanta can win. Their key is, once again, Edison doing what he needs to do, and Gator and Hawk being able to control space and dictate the tank play from the get-go. If they want to run Orisa Diva or Orisa Sigma, which most of the time they usually run the Diva with a Hawk, who's been playing phenomenally as well. And he can run the Sigma as well. And they can do whatever they need to do on the tank line as far as with the Orisa comps. If they can get those to work really well, which I think they can, because they're that skilled at it, I think they're going to give Dallas some fits. Dallas has to do what they've been doing. It's just straightforward. Do what you know how to do. Do your job, as it were. If they can come in and Fearless dictates how the tank battle is going to be won or played, he gets in, gets value with the Echo, cleans up after the Echo, and, he just does, they dive in perfectly, like they've been doing. And then you have Doha in the middle of the frontline chaos, in the back line with Reaper just blowing people's heads off with the shooty shotguns. Yeah, they're going to be in big trouble. I think Dallas can get neutralized some, but I do think that they have a distinct advantage with that comp. The hit scan, to me, is not going to matter. I don't know if you could see Pine. I don't know. I haven't heard anything on that, but you know what? If he's not here for this, he'll be here for the next stage, and it'll make them even more scary. They are the scariest team in this right now. So here's my thought. I say Dallas wins this 3-2, and that drops Atlanta down to the losers bracket. Now, in that match, which is going to be Shanghai, my thoughts on Shanghai and potentially Atlanta, potentially both of these teams, I should say. I think it's a fairly even match. I think that the DPS lines it's going to be a fantastic DPS battle to watch. Kai versus Lip, Fleta versus Pelican. I think that's going to be fantastic. I think Fate's doing really well, and Void, they're doing great. Void's been playing a lot of Sigma, and you know what? Atlanta's going to want to run Orisa Diva. So I think Atlanta knocks them out. I think Atlanta's that good. I think that NA is that good too, like just the teams and the way what they've gone through and who they played. Though they haven't seen a lot of stuff that Shanghai does, I think that they could potentially knock them out of this tournament. I had a different view. Maybe if you talked to me before the weekend, I would have said Shanghai is going to take this all the way. But they didn't look shaky. It's just these two teams from NA look just so good. And so Shanghai gets knocked out. Not bad, but you still get points. And that's all that matters right now is you get some extra points. You've been in the tournament. You've been in 2. So Shanghai's still looking pretty good. Dallas takes on Atlanta once more. I feel the same way as I did about the first one, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time breaking that down, but I just feel like it's going to be a same type of similar match, except for I am going to go Dallas 3-1 after they've kind of seen Atlanta. And, you could go on the same route with Atlanta as I just did with Dallas. But I just think Dallas has a little bit more right now. They're the best team in the league. Atlanta is playing in a meta that makes them probably the second best team in the league right now in this meta. Overall, not so much. I still think they're in the middle. But in this tournament, they're the second best team, unfortunately. So that is who I have. I have Dallas winning the June Joust. I had them winning the May Melee. That'll be 2 tournaments in a row. That'll be 6 points total. And now they can screw around. They can bring Pine in. Think about that. You have 3 extra points, so if you want to bring Pine in and try out the hit scan thing on the next stage, you literally have free points. So, once again, Dallas dominates. They're just an unbelievable team. Their coaching is fantastic. They're just going to be overall, like I said before the season started, they should be in positions to be winning tournaments, and they are. And I think they will win the second one of the year. They are building like the shock build, built up their confidence and their wins and how they played in 2018. I feel the same way about them right now, the way they're playing. They just got this snowball going of confidence, skill, coaching. It's just this, the cycle of misery has turned into something else. Figure out the meta, play with what you want anyway, win, get in the knockouts, win the knockouts, don't give up a map, go to Hawaii, say hello to everybody we saw last time, win the tournament, collect the money, rinse and repeat. That's Dallas's new cycle. That's going to do it for my June Joust predictions, guys. Thank you very much for joining me. I will be back at the beginning of next week unless something crazy happens. We'll break down the June Joust. We'll talk about all the matches, the championship, where we see that, and then we're going to go from there. We're going to start talking about mid-season stuff. We're going to get in a little bit. We got a week off. I have a birthday coming up in the middle of that, so there's going to be a little celebratory thing going on next weekend. So, on the 19th, that is. I'm going to try and get some stuff up before then, because my head might be a little sore come Sunday of the 20th. So anyway, we're going to talk a little bit more next week, like I said. Thanks a lot to all you guys for all your support. It's been greatly appreciated. Likes, subscribes, all the things you guys have been doing for me, comments, and please comment down below. Tell me what you guys got, who you like, all that kind of stuff. I want to hear from you. I want to get this conversation going with you. So I got Dallas. I know, safe pick. It's the logical pick for me. I mean, I don't go safe all the time, but this time I did. But thank you very much once again. If you were new, thanks a lot for hanging out, checking us out. It's greatly appreciated you stop by. Please hit a like, hit a subscribe. All the YouTube things would be greatly appreciated. All right, guys, this is Misfit. I'm out. Everybody stay safe. Have a good rest of your day. Enjoy the tournament. And I will talk to you guys on the next one.